the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, Jack Wagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy, on this hashtag Tequila Thursday. It's a brand spanking new edition of the Fade 5 podcast. So we're already clutching tickets in hand because we're hopping aboard the Honk Honk Plus bus, as we always do every single episode of the Fade 5 plus 100 odds or greater is the requirement, whether on the Thursday Night Football matchup between the Browns and Steelers, maybe the NHL, the NBA, college football, college basketball. Oh, feast week is practically here. And actually, we had some day basketball today, so it is definitely officially underway. Lundy, serve me up with some plus money, mi amigo.
Well, first of all, what is going on with the right side of my hair right now? What is
Hey, you have hair. I'm extremely envious.
Anyway. All right. Yeah, let's get to it. I'm pulling one out of my rear end, folks. Give me the Steelers defense special teams for a touchdown tonight. I'm calling for an F up by the Cleveland Browns. Everybody and their mother-in-law is on Cleveland with the points, and I think y'all are high. Y'all are nuts if you think that's going to happen. And I think this Steelers, not quite steel curtain, maybe like steel napkin defense is going to force Cleveland into doing something stupid. We know all about the weather. We know all of those kinds of things. And at the end of the day, he's still Jameis Winston. So at plus 340, it's not a big bet. It's not a full unit bet for me, but I'm sprinkling something on Pittsburgh's defense to get the job done and find the end zone.
Before I get to my plus bus wager, just a weather update. I read the synopsis by the National Weather Service based out of Cleveland, Ohio. Here's the good news. The winds are not going to be nearly as impactful as originally anticipated. The wind event's going to happen later on, well after the game, overnight there in Seatown. So sustained winds expected to be between about 12 to 14 miles an hour. You might get the occasional gust around 20. Not that big a deal, especially this time of year. However, there could be some lake effect snow squalls that may develop and be around at kickoff. Now, if one plants right over the stadium, which is butting up against Lake Erie, you could have a massive dump of like 1 inch per hour rates, but that may only be brief, and it could blow out of there before kickoff, with it being around 8:15 local time in the Cleveland area. So pump the brakes. I don't think the weather is going to be nearly as inclement as originally anticipated, but still, the over-under is at 37 for a reason, because this has got a black and blue affair written all over it. And with that in mind, give me the anytime touchdown, baby, on Najee Harris at plus 105. Available there at BetMGM. Look at Cleveland, number 26 in rush EPAD over the last 5 weeks. They've given up 9 total touchdowns to running back position, 4.33 yards per carry as well. Harris, number 8 among all NFL running backs in red zone touches with 36. He has scored a tutty in 3 of his last 5 games. He's got an appreciable 3.03 yards after contact per attempt, and he is numero dos among all qualifying NFL running backs and missed tackles force, according to Pro Football Focus, with 46. So I think Najee Harris punches one in for 6 at a little baby seduced by the juice there, plus 105 at BetMGM. I am a buyer. With those bets on the board and your weather on the 8s complete, let's get after it with another Thursday edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
Numero 5 on the countdown. Let's go to a rivalry game in the world of college basketball, shall we? And this is going to be played on the later night tip. I think tip time is 10 Eastern, if I stand corrected. I could be wrong on that, but Lundy, maybe keeping an eye on this matchup as an Oregon State Beaver grad, and I think they're going to be competitive. So here's how I'm going to play this in the rivalry game against Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon on the money line, the SGP, that first leg, and I'm going to take Oregon State up to 14.5, jacking that line up from 6.5 to 14.5. You put the hands together, you achieve plus money, plus 105. there at BetMGM. You look at Oregon, number 185 and adjusted tempo. Of course, now a member of the Big Ten. I'm glad they're keeping the rivalry alive, even though this is technically a non-conference game. The Ducks, number 131 EFG offense, number 54 decent in EFG defense, only giving up 26.6% along the arc, but only shooting 29.9% from distance on the season. You look at Dana Altman, he's got a plus rebounding team, excellent defensive team, very good along the perimeter, shackling it. But again, they just can't splash those threes a whole lot of frequency this season, and turnover 2-point offense has also been quite good for them. So that's why I think they're going to win this game, but I think Oregon State's going to stay within fighting distance. A team that plays at a much slower pace, number 337 adjusted tempo, number 89 EFG offense. But here is the key: Wayne Tinkle's kids, number 4 so far this season. And EFG defense are only giving up 41.1% inside the arc and a mere 23.6% outside of it. Oregon can already shoot from way downtown. They're really going to struggle in this one. Very good rebounding team. They have length. They have size. They're a team that doesn't shoot the ball, though, particularly well from outside. Though 45% of their shots are coming from beyond the arc. So if Vicious, I have to say that slowly, Minor and Kings with a Z step up from outside, given their defense inside, the rim protection they have, I think they're going to keep this one nice and snug, as Billy Raff would like to say. So numero cinco on the countdown to recap. Recap SGP, Oregon money line, Oregon State plus 14.5. Plus 105 there at BetMGM. Lundy, bury the bias, fade, or follow.
I don't know anything about either one of these teams.
Have you not taken in an Oregon State Beavers game yet?
No.
No. What kind of fan are you?
No, I haven't. For basketball? No. My favorite part about Oregon State basketball is Tinkle.
That's it.
I mean, that's it. The coach is Tinkle. You know, if you go back a decade, our coach was Barack Obama's brother-in-law.
That's
you
true.
know, I mean, those are the things that make Oregon State basketball fun. It's nowhere near as good as it was when I was growing up in Corvallis. So no, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But if you say so, sure, I'll follow.
Do it for Lundy. Do it for Wayne Tinkle. A little sprinkle for Tinkle. Yeah, I'm in.
Number 4.
Numero cuatro, the Fave 5 countdown. Let's go to the main event here. And Thursday night football. Give me the entire bottle of tequila because I'm probably going to have to chug it to endure this entire affair. Again, the over-under only sitting at 37, although it's moving northward in the right direction based on the encouraging weather reports. But I don't think that's going to deter or diminish the value on this prop. Give me the over on Najee Harris. Best line in the business right now at FanDuel. Heavier juice at minus 135 on the 16.5 rush attempts, but I shall pay it with the utmost confidence. What about this in the gamingjuice.com? Really one of my favorite plays of the night, and I would still play this at the 17.5 number if that's the book of your choosing has it at that a little bit lighter juice. You look at Cleveland, number 26 in rush EPAD. I've already mentioned that the last 5 weeks. Saquon, believe it or not, is the only running back to go over this number against them on the 17.5. There's 2 running backs, including Saquon and somebody else's name I'm forgetting, that did hit the over on the 16.5 number. Cleveland, again, giving up 4.33 yards per carry, 83.6 rush yards per game at the running back position. Harris has done this 7 times, 7. And that is certainly a lucky number, getting 62.6% of the opportunity share. He's averaging 17.5 rush attempts per game. So go to FanDuel, soft number here. Najee Harris over 16.5 rush attempts, minus 135 there at FanDuel. A very conservative number, and I think he's going to smash this. Could be a 20-carry game along the shores of Lake Erie. Numero cuatro on the countdown. Lundy, fade or follow.
So where's your count then for Jaylen Warren?
Jaylen Warren's probably getting around 7 to 9 touches, is my guess.
Would you play his rush and receive yards?
What's the number at?
Low 50s. I'm looking for it right now, but I want to say it's 52.
Too high. I would actually bet on the under on that if I had, pick either way.
Hold, please. It's at 55.
Under.
You're going to play the under on that one. I don't like how high it's climbed. That number opened, I think, closer to 52. I don't like that it's been bumping up. It's juiced to the over, by the way. You can take the under if you want to follow that along with Brad at a minus 110 at the 55.5 on Jaylen Warren. I'm just curious whether they'll try to dump it to him out of the backfield. That's one of the things that I would watch for. Could be that you stay away from that one. Like, for example, if you same game parlayed it, it's minus 150. For him to have 50 or more, but Brad says he's going to stay lower. I'm a little nervous about that one. I actually think they will utilize Warren a little bit more than we think. However, I digress off of 16.5 carries. Yes, I would play the over on this one. I will follow. I think they'll continue to hand the ball off to Najee Harris. Not my favorite name on the list. That name's coming up later on the Fade 5.
Oh, you're such a tease, but Najee Harris, be a damn workhorse, my man.
Number 3.
Numero tres here with the Fade 5 countdown, and this number has climbed a couple of ticks. It was at 32.5 a couple of days ago, and I'm still playing the under 32.5, or even the better number right now, 34.5 yards, longest completion for Jameis Winston at a minus 115 juice there at BetMGM. I know what Jameis is going to do in this game. He's going to uncork early and often. That is the name of thy game. But he's only done this twice the entire year. Once against Baltimore, once against New Orleans. He's number 2 in air yards per attempt among all qualifying quarterbacks, but only number 35 in adjusted completion percentage. So he's missed his mark quite often. Pittsburgh is a team that does not give up a lot of chunk plays. I understand they've allowed 6 pass plays of 40 or more yards, but they are bottom 10 in most 20-yard pass plays allowed this season. And in fact, over the last 5 weeks, number 7, that is it, and pass EPA defense. So I think they're going to limit Jameis Winston from connecting on a long bomb, whether it being to David Njoku or Jerry Jeudy or Cedric Tillman. And the breeze that could pick up in the second half, that might play a minor factor as well. So, calculating all that up, Jameis Winston, and won't be famous Jameis tonight. I'm limiting land down under on 34.5 yards, longest completion, minus 115 at BetMGM. Good, sir. Pay to follow.
I liked it at 32.5. So of course I like it at 34.5. Hells to the yeah. The fact that this has gone up, maybe because of the weather. Twice. You already talked about 2 times. That's all he's done. That's it. Yes, play the under on this one. He's not going to throw another 89-yard bomb. Okay, it's not happening. So, you keep underneath that 34.5. Like I said, it's crept up. It's in our favor. Jump on this. I really like this bet.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that as well. Also an enormous fan of thegamingjuice.com. It's my 100% free website where all my fantasy football content lives there, updated player position ranks. I do that chore every single day. I give it the latest based on the news and notes and where my mind is at on certain dudes among quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Get the very latest rankings there at thegamingjuice.com. Read the Fantasy Flames pieces, all my sports betting content. Lundy's always free, always transparent spreadsheet also lives there. Ben Wittenstein, Nate Jacobson rolling out a ton of content ahead of another massive weekend in the world of college football and college basketball. I hit on the Illinois bet last night. I middled the crap out of that. Ooh, backdoor crept through. They did get the cover on the alt line, and Alabama, of course, won straight up. Cha-ching, that was a cash. I'll have another play. And Duke in Arizona on Friday night. That one down in Tucson. Get it all on thegamingjuice.com. You can ask me a question as well. Just click Ask Brad, fire off whatever's on your mind, and I'll get to it whenever convenient. So go to thegamingjuice.com right now. It's 100% free, you jackals. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's correlate, synergize, and bring it all together. If I am going way under on Jameis Winston on longest completion at 34.5 yards, I don't think he's going to have a deep connection, even a modest gain to one Jerry Jeudy. So, again, I'm going to live in the land down under on 19.5. yards on the longest catch for Judy. Judy's only done this a half dozen times this season, no matter who's been quarterbacking the team, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Winston. He is, yes, number 11 in total air yards. A pretty handsome ranking there, 14.4 yards per reception. Also nothing to scoff at there. Number 72, though, in yards per route run. Number 54 in yards per target. Believe it or not, Lundy, he is numero uno, the former Denver Bronco, in total route wins. That one kind of, took me taking a step back. I was rather astonished by that statistic when I looked it up. But again, the Steelers, number 7 to pass EPAD, they rank bottom 10 in most passes beyond 20 yards allowed, and he's getting a lot of Dante Jackson to coverage, who's been tremendous. 55.6% catch rate, 12.5 yards per catch allowed, and just a 57 flat passer rating. So put it all together, Jerry Jeudy under 19.5 yards on the longest catch, minus 110 at BetMGM. Good sir, numero dos in the countdown. Feed or follow.
Nobody ever said he couldn't run routes. It was one of the best things he could do is run routes. That guy's good at running routes. You just got to try to get him the ball and do something after it hits his hands. I'm with you on this because I'm correlating together with what you just talked about before with Winston. So if you believe that about Winston, take the under within Jerry Jeudy on the 19.5. I mean, obviously something funky could happen. That's what always is the case with these longest catches, because you get one guy that misses a tackle and suddenly you're tearing up your ticket. But I think this is a safe bet and a good one to correlate together.
JJ, don't be dynamite!
Number 1.
Numero uno on the hashtag Tequila Thursday edition of the Feed at 5 countdown. I already know where Lundy's head is at on this one. I love it. It's Darnell Washington over 10.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at a BetMGM Sportsbook. The reason why I'm big on Darnell Washington, he's a big man. He's a guy, he's like the Bumble and Rudolph, where you just give him the star and he'll put it on top of the tree. He doesn't even have to get on his tippy toes. That's how tall he is at 6'7", wide body with really soft hands for as big as he is. He is far and away not a clumsy dude. I look at Cleveland, number 24 pass EPAD over the last 5 weeks. 13 tight ends have gone over 10.5 receiving yards against them. They were giving up 4.9 receptions and 48.1 yards per game to the position. You look at Darnell Washington. Yeah, he's only getting 7.2% of the team target percentage so far this season, but he's averaging 12 yards per catch. I just need one grab, hit your average, and cha-ching, we are counting our winnings. He's done this in 3 of the last 4 games. Really coincides with the ascension of Russell Wilson there under center, and he's ran 15 combined routes the last couple of weeks. That may not seem a lot, but his role is slowly growing, and the trust is also slowly growing from Russell Wilson. So give me that one grab, Darnell Washington, and we're cashing at number 1 on the Feed 5 countdown today. Over 10.5 receiving yards at a minus 115 at BetMGM. Lundy, my top play of the day. Fade or follow?
Mine too. He's outplayed Freiermuth over the course of the last few games, and I believe over the course of the last 4 weeks, number 3 tight end according to PFF. So his usage is going up. Russell Wilson's looking for him, and it's not that hard because he's about 1.5 feet taller than Russ. So yeah, because Russ is little dude. So him and Tom Cruise. So yeah, I'm going to absolutely roll with this one. This would have been my number 1. Look at you having him at number 1. Kumbaya.
Oh, yes, energizing and bringing it all together. And bonus time, early bonus time. I'm going to throw it out. Darnell Washington, anytime touchdown, 10-1. At BetMGM. Speaking of bonus time, let's get to some additional bets right now from the good sir. Drop the puck and likely make it some bucks. The NHL is specialty. I'm sure he's going to pop off on that. Maybe the NBA, college football, college basketball, or more action on this hashtag Tequila Thursday matchup between the Steelers and Browns. What do you have?
You know what would be fun, Brad, is to actually cash a 30-1 ticket that there's not a single touchdown in this game tonight. And if the weather forecast had stayed shitty, I absolutely would have made that bet just in case. God knows the Steelers know how to win just by using Boswell. So we've already figured all of that kind of crap out. if Cleveland does score, let me throw out Cedric Tillman at plus 300. Let me just, if you're looking for somebody on Cleveland's side to be able to go with, Tillman is at a 3-1. That one is over at DK. Shop around a little bit. I haven't checked the other books yet for him. He was just a name that jumped out to me for this evening's action. Folks, I kind of alluded to it at the beginning. I would lay the points with Pittsburgh here. I know it's 3.5. I know that's a crappy number in everybody's head mentally. When it comes to it, you'd be a lot happier with it at 2.5. And of course, so would I. But Pittsburgh has covered 7 out of the last 10 times these two teams have played. Okay. So let's start there. Just in the head to head, Pittsburgh has covered 7 out of the last 10 times. In addition to that, this season, Pittsburgh has won and covered in 5 straight games.
Wow.
Pittsburgh is a covering machine right now. So I know they're on the road. I know there were questions about the weather and all that kind of crap. I really like Pittsburgh in this game. I don't see a team that is on this much of a hot streak. Again, 5 wins in a row, and all 5 of them, they covered the spread. I've got zero issue with laying the points with Pittsburgh tonight. I think the Steelers win this one. I think it's going to be a close game. And then I think late third, early fourth quarter, they're going to pull away. Because at the end of the day, for all of the grief that he got here in Denver, Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, and Mike Tomlin is a hell of a coach. So that's my last pick for Thursday Night Football. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like, meh. It's a game in crappy weather in Cleveland, for crying out loud. Let me give you a couple of fun ones here in the National Hockey League tonight. How many games are there, Nate? 1, 2, 3, 10. 10 of them on the schedule for this evening. By the way, got to do the full mea culpa. If you look at the spreadsheet right now, next to Monday, I actually put LOL next to it on the spreadsheet. You remember, on the Plus Bus on Monday, I gave you a 3-leg money line because we had 3 teams that were playing the basement dwellers in the National Hockey League. Each one of those teams was favored by a minimum of minus 225 on the money line. The Dogs won all 3.
Wow.
The Dogs won all bleeping 3 of them on Monday. So I just, on the spreadsheet, it just says LOL because obviously we took it as a loss. And I also was scratching my head like, you got to be kidding me. The worst teams in the league bounced up and beat some of the best teams in the league on Monday night. Florida is on the road this evening. Where are they? They're in Chicago, Brad. They're just north of you. Sorry about that. Give me Florida on the money line, and then give me Alexander Barkov and Sam Reinhart to each have a point. Both of those guys on a roll right now in terms of point streaks for Florida. They also occupy the top line together. They're also out there on the power play together. And like I said, Reinhardt's got points in 11 straight games. Barkov has points in 9 straight games. I think each of those guys extends the streak against Chicago on the road. If you do that one, Barkov and Reinhardt plus Florida on the money line, it's a minus 101 over at FanDuel. By the way, DraftKings, put points back available in your SGPs. Stop jerking people around. I have no idea. You can still do same game parlays with shots on goal, and they took points away, and I'm pissed. Speaking of points, how about some cash, Brad? Plus 270. I'm just going to start with I'm going to start with the punchline. Plus 270 for Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings to have a power play point tonight at home against the New York Islanders. Okay? Couple of reasons why I like this. This guy so far in the month of November has 7 points. 5 of those have come on the power play. He has more power play points than anyone else on Detroit's roster. So we start there. Then you go to the fact that the Islanders are awful on the penalty kill, okay? They're bad on the penalty kill. They're on the road. Give me Lucas Raymond for a power play point. You can snag this one. Thank you for still having this available, friends at BetMGM. Plus 270. That is crazy to me for the guy that is leading Detroit right now on the man advantage. With 10 games on the schedule, I will have more for you. The bummer, of course, is that Alex Ovechkin, on the hot streak that he's on, is injured. He's not expected to play for a couple of games, which is too bad because I'd be going right back to that well with him and Strome. We hit that one on Monday. That was the non-LOL one on Monday, thank God. But for now, I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois. Let's rock, Brad.
Indeed, we're in Rock in Seatown, right down the street from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, mi amigo. The Team Huevos parlay play of Thursday Night Football, SGP, naturally. Leg numero uno, rub-a-dub-dub, getting that bottle service behind the velvet rope at the Chubb Club. I'm taking the over on 14.5 rush attempts. Leg numero dos, I agree with Lundy. Pittsburgh ultimately could cover this game, so let's check the spread up with the Browns at plus 10.5. Just keep it within single digits. And leg numero tres, speaking of jacking up, well, let's do that with the total all the way up to 50 and pound the under. I will give you the payoff here momentarily after the breakdown of legs. Nick Chubb has done this, 5 times this season. And you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers have allowed 5 guys to do this as well. Actually, Chubb has not done this 5 times, done this in 2 of the last 3. But Pittsburgh has allowed 5 guys to go over this number. They are number 8 in rush EPAD. If weather does play a remote factor at all, I think Nick Chubb's going to get a lot of work, especially late in the game. But this has got a black and blue affair written all over it regardless. I think it's going to be below 40 points. I think Cleveland's going to stay within spitting distance. They may not cover the standard line of 3.5, but I do believe they're going to cover the 10.5. And then you look at Chubb. He's getting 64.8% of the opportunity share. He's averaging 13.3 rush attempts per game. They have to get him going. I think he only played 22 snaps last week. So he is ultra fresh. Kevin Stefanski said we got to give him the ball more. Here's the golden opportunity and what could be a field goal fest along Lake Erie. So SGP, Team Huevos parlay play of the day. Nick Chubb over 14.5 rush attempts. Cleveland in the alt line plus 10.5. And the game under on the alt total 50, a cool plus 138. There at DraftKings Sportsbook. Elsewhere, bonus time. Lundy, I kind of like David Njoku. Anytime touchdown at 4-1. I grabbed that at BetMGM. So that is my longer shot touchdown along with Darnell Washington at 10-1. I can see coming to fruition. You're nodding your head, you're calculating, you're thinking that's probably a pretty good bet.
Well, I like what I like is the payday out of it, I think is what I like more than anything else. I don't know how much they're going to try to find in Njoku or not, but that's a pretty decent payday for somebody that we know can be extremely active when you get inside the 15.
Yeah, a little end zone stomp could be in order there for David Njoku. All right, let's go back to college basketball. And a game is being played at Baha Mar in the Bahamas. Baylor and St. John's, a marquee matchup tonight. Tips off at 7 p.m. Eastern. Feast week, man. It's starting. Let's go, baby. We got basketball during the day, all through the night for the next several days. It's glorious. Thank you, basketball gods. Thank you. The greatest sports betting week of the year is here. And in this game, I'm going to live in a little middle. Give me Baylor plus 3.5. Give me St. John's plus 10.5 on those alt lines. And build that little 2-leg parlay on the SGP plus 110. There at BetMGM. You look at the Baylor Bears, number 272 in adjusted tempo, 47 EFG offense, but defensively they have struggled. See the Gonzaga game, which they got blasted from beginning to end. Number 258 EFGD, and they're giving up 54.1% inside the arc and 35.5% outside of it. Very good offensive rebounding team. They will generate some second chances. Good offensive team in general. They can go deep as well. It's just turnovers on offense. They shoot themselves the foot way too often. And, of course, that overall defensive performance. What version are we going to get? St. John's going to be a stiff challenger, and Rick Pitino, still one of the best X's and O's coaches in all of college basketball. The Johnnies, number 124 in tempo, relish a brisker pace. Number 65 in EFG offense, so they can fill up the cup, especially inside the arc where they're shooting 58.8%. Defensively, outstanding. The antithesis of Baylor, number 39 in EFGD, only allowing 41.7% inside the arc and 30.5% outside of it. The positives with this team, 2-point offense and, of course, that defense. The negatives, much like Baylor, turnovers on offense. They're confident of 18.8% of their possessions. And, I think that's going to be really the deciding factor in this game. Who shackles the orange the best? Is it going to be Baylor or St. John's? We'll just keep it close. Again, Baylor plus 3.5, St. John's plus 10.5, all that SGP plus 110 there at BetMGM. And one more bet here. Bonus time, bonus time. Let's go to the NBA. Give you some action there. LeBron James. I am going to live and land down under Lundy on 8.5 assists at a lighter minus 105 juice, taking on the Orlando Magic. Book this at BetMGM. Orlando's allowed the second fewest assists per game of any team in the NBA at 23.4. They're also number 2 and adjusted defensive efficiency, only allowing 1.042 points per possession. LBJ, he's averaging north of 8.5 assists per game. He's averaging 9.4 dimes per contest. Has hit the over in 6 of his last 8. But you look at what he did against Orlando last year, similar roster, only had 5 assists and 4 assists in those 2 games. So the under 8.5, I think, hits on LBJ and the assists against the Orlando Magic. All right, I'm out of breath, and we are out of time here on the Feed 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, fade or follow us on the X. Lundy, always giving it to you there at Nate Lundy. I'm doing the same at Noisy Huevos. Check out the GamingJuice.com, you jackals. It's 100% free. And until next time, as always, feed or follow. That is up to you. Let it snow, Mother Nature. Make it happen in Cleveland.